The latest that we have for you is that the search and rescue is continuing at this point. We understand, of course, from the teams that we spoke to that the search is going to continue late into the night. As you can see from behind me, they've also ensured that there's lights that have been installed to assist them with that retrieval. At this particular moment, and this is now the discussion and confirmation that we received from the mayor whom we spoke to earlier on. He stated that there's currently 3 people that are entrapped after the building collapsed at around, or rather before noon today. And from the information that we received once again from the mayor, he confirmed that there's 1 person that can be confirmed as deceased. You remember there was quite a bit of confusion really when you're looking at the fatalities, the number of fatalities. Initially, there were reports indicating that there's 2 people that have died after the building collapsed. But the understanding that we got was that second person, the reason why it seems they had stated is deceased was because he had stopped responding to comms. And at this particular moment, what we can also confirm from the conversations that we've had with a few family members here, there are people that have stopped responding, and this is now after they were responding to comms at around, or rather just after 5 p.m. So the operation that is currently ongoing is to retrieve those people that have stopped responding. But we also understand from IPSS that they've now had to change their strategy in terms of retrieving those people. We're told that they'll now be going in from the top. Of course, they are facing quite a bit of difficulty really from those images that we saw earlier on in what we observed. You're looking at quite a bit of thick concrete. There's also wires, a bit of remnants that indicate that there was work that was being conducted before the building would actually collapse. You remember that it was stated that there's a number of workers that were on site when the building collapsed onto a temple. We're told that the building collapsed when a truck mixing concrete was pouring concrete onto the building, and it's at that point when the building would then unfortunately collapse onto the temple. So at this very moment, the search and rescue is continuing to retrieve those people that are currently entrapped. We at this point can't indicate the identities of those people that are currently entrapped, but a few of them are known, as we know, of course, that there's people that have indicated that there's a few people that are still missing. What we can also confirm, unfortunately, there's another person that has died on the top of the hill. So you'll remember that earlier on, it is quite a bit of a walk when you're trying to access that area where the building actually collapsed. The information that we received on the ground is that that person about an hour ago had made his way up the hill, and this, it seems, is an elderly man. I believe they had indicated that he is in his 60s. He had made his way up the hill. Once he got to the top of the hill, which is where you can see the building quite clearly, he would then collapse after 15 minutes of looking at the collapsed building. And we understand from information that we've received, it seems as if the issue was with his heart. So it's not clear as yet if his body has been removed from the site, but the indication is that his death is unrelated to the people that have been brought out, but he did unfortunately die on scene while looking at the collapsed building. I want us to have a listen, however, to what the mayor had to say to us, and this is now before the person would actually collapse. I want us to have a listen to what the mayor had to say when he arrived here. Of course, he spoke about those people that are still entrapped and the retrieval that is currently ongoing.
Currently, there are people entrapped. We don't know how many there are, and as yet, but there is a reported fatality. It's only one fatality so far, and but we don't know now with the time it has taken to rescue those that are entrapped, whether they will still find those still entrapped alive. But we can only keep them in our prayers. We keep their families in our prayers, that they be found alive. The rescue teams are busy doing their work on site, and the law enforcement agencies are currently doing their own investigations. Our disaster team is also on the ground assessing the disaster that has actually happened. As soon as all of that investigation has happened, we'll then release information to the media. Our team in the metro will also be checking whether there's been any compliance with the building regulations as far as it relates to our authority as a city.
So, as you heard from that conversation, the search for those people is still continuing. Of course, a multidisciplinary team is on site, and they are assisting with ensuring the safe return of those people that are yet to be retrieved. There was also a bit of worry from the statement that came from the municipality. They indicated that it seems as if the plans for the building had not been approved. We understand, of course, that tomorrow the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Dean McPherson, will make his way here. It's not clear as yet if he is making his way here for that particular purpose. Of course, there's a number of people that want to understand how the building would continue, the operations of the building would continue, seeing that it was illegal. But the mayor also stating that he will release more information on that once he has it. At this particular moment, the operations, the search and rescue is continuing. A number of search and rescue teams, as you can see, still on site. They do state that they will be continuing until the night to ensure the retrieval of those at least 3 people that are still entrapped.
That's our reporter, Silethiwe Ndlovu. She's out in the north of Durban, of course, after tragedy struck in the aftermath of that building collapse. As you see, live scenes as she's on the ground.